Welcome to Seeking True Love, dating advice for highly sensitive, heart-led women. If you're a deeply feeling, intuitive woman who longs for a relationship that meets you on every emotional level, you're in the right place. This podcast is for women who lead with their hearts and who refuse to settle for surface-level dating or emotionally unavailable partners. Here, you'll get practical dating guidance made for HSPs, support for the challenges sensitive women face, tools to stay grounded without abandoning your needs, and expert conversation about what true love really is and how to call it in for yourself. Because your love story should be extraordinary.
You're just right for me, and I'm just right for you. And I'll take your heart and squeeze so softly, so sweetly, forever love.
Most women aren't confused about what they want. What they're conflicted about is whether or not they're actually allowed to want what they want in the first place. A lot of women build these nice, stable lives by being the good girl. We are intelligent. We are adaptable. We are emotionally responsible. But somewhere along the way, we learn to negotiate with our own hearts. We start focusing on what is reasonable instead of what would actually fulfill us. So what does it really mean to be heart-led? The tagline for this podcast is dating advice for highly sensitive, heart-led women. What does that actually mean? Most of us are familiar with the idea of being highly sensitive. It means that our nervous systems are more finely tuned to external stimuli. We feel things more deeply, we process things more deeply, and yes, we can become overwhelmed more easily. Those are just a few aspects of being a highly sensitive person. Being heart-led is something different. Not all highly sensitive people are heart-led, and not all heart-led people are highly sensitive. It's the combination of those two that makes our journey in dating, in love, and in life particularly unique, because we don't stay comfortable in our own comfort zones for long. We've all heard the phrase, follow your heart. What does that mean? Being heart-led doesn't just mean having big desires. It means having deep feelings you cannot ignore. If you try to ignore them, you usually suffer for it. And that's why being heart-led can be so hard, because when something doesn't feel right, you eventually have to make a change. And change is hard, especially for highly sensitive people. But staying in a place where your heart feels wrong, that can be even worse. There's actually growing research showing that we don't just process information in the brains in our head. The gut has its own nervous system, often called the second brain, and the heart has a complex neural network that plays a role in emotional regulation. So when people talk about listening to the heart or trusting a gut feeling, they're not just being poetic. They're describing real physiological processes that are happening inside of your own body right now. The gut is about instinct, what feels good or safe to the body. The head is about logic and analysis. But the heart is where we feel what we truly want. There's some research that actually shows how positive emotions regulate the heart's rhythms, which in turn helps to regulate the whole body. The heart tells us when something matters deeply to us. So when people say follow your heart's true desire, I think this is what they mean. Not what would make your ego feel good, not what would impress other people, not what you should want or what keeps the peace or what helps you avoid conflict, and not society's prescription for a successful life, but the thing that genuinely makes your heart sing. I think we all know what that is, if we're willing to listen. And one of the gifts of being heart-led is that it's often easier to get in touch with what you want. Following through on it, though, that's another story, but at least you know, right? Your heart speaks to you in your thoughts, in your nighttime dreams, and in your daydreams. And being heart-led isn't just about romantic relationships, it's about everything you want in your life. Part of why I felt inspired to record this episode is because I've been on my own heart-led journey recently. As I began promoting myself more as a dating coach, I realized I was losing time for something that matters deeply to me, which is making art. Right around the same time I had this realization, I had an opportunity to return to grad school. I don't know if you know this about me, but I completed most of a master's program in marriage and family therapy years ago. During the COVID pandemic, I had to step away because I couldn't find an internship site to complete my supervised hours. Now, 6 years later, I finally have the chance to finish my degree and pursue a career as a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm sharing this because it means I'll be posting less frequently on the podcast for a while. The podcast isn't going away, it's just slowing down. I'm still taking dating coaching clients, and if that resonates with you, you're welcome to book a discovery call with me using the link in the show notes. This shift felt like a U-turn from how I started last year, but in my heart, it feels right. This is what it means to be heart-led. It means making changes that feel true to you, even when they're unexpected, when they don't match other people's expectations, or when they don't match your own expectations of where you thought you'd be by now. And even when they require pivoting away from something that you've worked very hard on. Leading a heart-led life, regardless of your level of sensitivity, is a personal philosophy of mine. And I don't believe that following your heart guarantees you'll get everything you want in life. I don't think any of us gets everything we want in life, especially when you have big feelings and big desires like I do. But I believe the reason to live a heart-led life is simple. What else are you going to do with your life? I can't imagine the boredom and despair that I'd feel if I stopped pursuing my dreams. If I reach the end of my life and don't get everything I wanted, I can live with that. But if I reach the end and realize I didn't even try, that would be a life of regret. We only get this life, this body, this moment in time. So how are you going to spend it? I hope this gives you some food for thought, because not only should your love life be extraordinary, your entire life should be extraordinary. And I don't believe that's possible unless you follow your heart's desires. Happy New Year! Here's to your heart-led life.